Mhm. Welcome back to the Divine Now. And I want to today um, share a thought, something that I've been sort of dealing with personally. I won't go into details of that, but situation that I'm facing that's heavier than me, is bigger than me, and one of the things that I wanted to be careful about was not letting my ego um, sort of take charge. And when I talk about ego, I'm talking about that part of me that's me. I embrace my ego. I love my ego. I acknowledge my ego. But I realize the ego doesn't always make the best decision, or it doesn't always think the best thoughts. It's the part that sort of allows me to consider the divine, or a higher self, a higher way of being. So when I talk about ego, or an ego point, the ego point is that those moments in your life where you can make a decision between making a choice that you know is probably not the best choice, versus a higher choice, a choice that leans into the intangible, the invisible qualities of life: love, truth, justice, peace, mercy. Those types of things that we can't touch, we can't bring into our reality physically, but we know that they're real. Okay, so some would say that's a divine part of us, or God, however you want to just phrase that. So the thing that I've been sort of processing is, okay, I don't want to become passive aggressive with what I'm dealing with. I don't want to become angry. I don't want to lash out. I don't want to um, do anything that's going to disrupt my next move. Uh, Almost like seeing life as a chessboard. Where you have to strategize and make the next move in order to win the game. You have to make the proper move to win the game. Well, I want to win at this game, this thing we call life. And so everything that comes into our storyline, for me, this is how I interpret my life, is about my development, me becoming a better person, a better man, a better source of love and purpose. So was thinking about this thing that I'm sort of dealing with, and I'm going to coin it. I want to be at zero. And what I mean by that is being at zero is not allowing my ego to make the choice. I'm going to let my ego sort of be soft, be quiet, to be still, even to be silent, um, even if to not even think about what I need to do, to not try to form a mission statement as to what I need to do next, because the truth of the matter is I don't know what I need to do next. I don't know what the right move is or the next move is. So to come to a point of zero where I'm not doing anything at all but being still within myself. And that sometimes is hard because the mind is always moving. There's always this sometimes this restlessness inside of us. Um, that's sometimes what keeps us up at night, is the mind not being still. And that's one thing I struggle with is just insomnia. So becoming at that place of just being still and quiet and soft, pliable, uh, to be willing to be wrong in order to become right, to be willing to listen as opposed to having something to say. That's what I'm calling coming to that place of zero. Even if I come to a place of one, there's still movement. My ego is still making a decision. Two, I'm making probably even a less than noble decision. Or three and four and five, and we can go up the scale, um, to where the ego is involved in trying to find a solution. And that's when that part of our brain is sort of kicking in, that limbic brain that's in survival mode. We either fight, we freeze, or we fight, we flight, or we freeze, or we try to fix it. Those are the four things that we do when we're in survival mode. We're trying to feel safe. And so to actually allow the mind to be still enough to where you can not let that natural reaction take place, and you allow that spiritual awareness of you to sort of find what you need, whether that truth comes from outside or come from within, wherever it comes from, whatever that, the Bible calls it that still small voice. Um, and in Buddhist philosophy, it's the art of non-attachment or detachment. The thinking in Buddhist philosophy is we suffer because we are attached to things. But when we lose our attachment, we can find our serenity. It's that place coming at zero. And so for me, with this big thing that I'm dealing with, I'm choosing to quiet myself, soften myself, find myself, and be unattached to the outcome of what could be, what is. And I try to imagine what's wrong or what's right, but just let the stillness sort of speak. And I don't know if this is helping anyone out there, if you're dealing with something that's bigger than you. There's so much happening in the world. Economically, there are massive shifts taking place. Politically, the pandemic has not made things easy for a lot of us. And then we have our own personal things that we're dealing with that can be very, very challenging. And the ego gets afraid and gets insecure and wants to do something and fight and protect. And sometimes we don't always make the right decisions when we're in that place. So find your zero point. Find that point where you can be quiet, still, soft, willing to let go and listen to what wisdom might bring to you, might come out of you. And you never know what your next move will be. And it might not make sense initially, but you will have a peace. You'll know that the next move is the right move when you have peace, because from stillness comes more stillness. So I hope this has encouraged you. I don't know what you might be going through today, that's heavy, that's bigger than you, but I do know that I believe this, that if we situate ourselves purposefully at a place of just being quiet and still and letting the ego feel safe, we don't deny the ego, we don't dismiss the ego's needs or cry for help. Because that really is what the ego is. The ego is that part of us that cries for help, love, and safety. And it's like that little kid in us that wants to know that it's okay. We have to learn to take care of that part of us. Really, the ego is just that part of us that's afraid. And so we're training the ego, we're training ourselves to trust something bigger than fear, which is love. And this whole notion that it's going to be okay, even if it doesn't feel okay at the moment. So I hope something was said that sort of encouraged you today. If you like some of the things that you hear that I share, hit subscribe. Unfortunately, I haven't figured out how to allow you to make comments. Even my son couldn't figure it out. So if he can figure it out, he's a computer internet whiz. I'm sorry about that, but hopefully I'll get that fixed soon. Hit the bell, and so you'll get notifications. You're loved. You're amazing. And thanks for listening. Peace.